like it want some. Think I got what you need, well I have none. Hop off, you're a freak and I'm handsome. Slide up in the club like 2 chains. This snake is on top of the food chain. Sign out like a star, no new name. All these friends in my DMs, no message back. I just see them, I get them hooked and I reel it down, throw them back when completed. I'm a snake on this lane, I'm speeding my poison and flame. I'm only no pain, we're dripping in venom, so baby, I'm a VIP. Selection, never hugs or connections, I just construct them.
Show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Well, is that not the truth or what? It does not matter who is sitting behind this chair. It's all about you. Anyways, today is Thursday, January the 6th. So happy Three Kings Day, or Dia de los Reyes, or however you want to put it, of 2022. Today is day 6 of the year. I think we're going to be able to figure out some simple math throughout this month. And only day 300, or it's only 359 days remaining before the whole thing is over with. So how are you doing on this fantastic Thursday? I hope everything is good and grand wherever the heck you are and whatever you have going on, because all of those things are always important. I think that sometimes we tend to forget on how important they actually are. So let's not get too crazy and forget some of those things that we deem important as we are moving forward. Anyway, so we are broadcasting live from our Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM. So just as you probably are aware, and we're hanging out with our friends and colleagues at that other place that, we get to do stuff at.
Radio.
Oh, yes, hanging out with our friends at Radio Big.FM. So, yes, some fun stuff always going on that side as well. So, as we are hanging out, let's talk about what was trending in the overnight, because those things are always important. So let's start talking about that right away. Jon Stewart was trending yesterday. Yes. On Wednesday. Yes, so yesterday, Wednesday. Responding to news headlines claiming that he accused Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling of an anti-Semitic in her books. No, I didn't, he tweeted. So there you go. That was trending. The Villages landed in Twitter's top 10 trends yesterday after news broke that the 4th person from the active adult retirement community has been arrested for allegedly casting multiple ballots in the 2020 election. The Villages is located in Central Florida. Now, I will tell you, that is not too far away from where I'm located. I mean, not super far. But it is a very interesting retirement community. They've been known for some other things very popular throughout the state as well, but we could leave that at another time. Many were tweeting about the Grammys yesterday as news broke that the award show has been postponed. Yes, postponed. More on that announcement, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on. And Pope Francis was trending yesterday after stating that those who choose to have pets over children show a form of selfishness. So hold on. Form of selfishness if you have a pet. I don't know. A lot of stuff. A lot of stuff going on there. I don't know, where to take that one, but that's a whole other story. Anyway, so according to the charts yesterday, in honor of the late Betty White, check out monologue from the one time that she hosted the Saturday Night Live. White took to the stage in 2010 at 88 years old, making her the oldest person to ever host the show. Now, I will tell you that was one of the things that was hitting the charts yesterday. Not the trends, but the charts on things that you can take a look at. Of course, as you know, if we were radio alone and not doing anything else, I could go in here and talk about this, and then we could actually show it. But what happens is, because we're doing video feed, and it is, copyrighted and all that kind of fun stuff, we can't do the video. But if we were hanging out in audio only world, we would definitely be able to do that, because I have the rights to a lot of the crap that we do here. So anyways, that's what's going on real quick. If you are new to the show, kind of let me give you the layout of the land, because I always think that those are important. The people that have hung out with us before, thank you for doing so. We kind of go through the news, talk about the different things that are going on, and then we have some professional broadcasters that come in and they take over, do their thing, talk about the news, and then we come back, hang out together, and go through all the different news segments of things that we can actually find. Now, if you're interested in interacting with the show, I'm going to let you know that callinradio.com is probably the best way to go about it. That's callinradio.com. Yes, callinradio.com. You can text, you can video chat, you can call directly, all from there. Not a problem whatsoever. There are some availabilities through the social media threads if you desire to do so. So there's some stuff there as well. And we'll get you moving and grooving with all the other stuff that we have going on, because that's probably going to be important for us to be able to hang out with. So let's do this. Let's get our friends at Feature Story News right out here and let them say what they have to say. And we'll be back. I'll be back. Well, I'm not really going anywhere. So am I really going back, or are we just listening to the news together? Now I'm not even sure.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. Kazakh security forces say they've killed dozens of anti-government protesters in Almaty. Russia is sending forces at the Kazakh president's request to try and stabilize the situation. Demonstrations have been growing over the cost of living and other political grievances. Cases of COVID-19 in India are growing 21 times faster than at the peak of the second wave in May. The country added more than 90,000 new infections on Thursday, 58% up from the previous day. Ishan Gerg reports from New Delhi.
The country's capital has announced a weekend curfew. Many other states across the nation are following suit. This as the country has reported its first death from the Omicron variant. The government has confirmed that a man with no significant travel history has died due to the virus in India's Rajasthan state. Experts say this means that the virus is already spreading through communities. While the country has reported only 2,600 cases of Omicron, it's believed that the variant may already be replacing Delta in large cities. Many are already calling for tougher restrictions as hospitalizations are going up. Local governments say they may introduce targeted lockdowns in the next few days to reduce the load on hospitals. Ishan Garg, New Delhi.
French MPs have approved the government's proposed legislation to convert the COVID-19 health pass into a vaccine pass. The bill would essentially remove the possibility of using a negative test to enter cafes, restaurants and cinemas. Ross Cullen reports from FSN Paris.
After 3 days of debate, 2 suspensions of Parliament, a row over the President using vulgar language, the government finally got its controversial vaccine pass bill through the lower house after an all-night session finishing close to 6 a.m. local time. All this as France registered another new record for daily coronavirus case numbers, with more than 330,000 people testing positive on Wednesday. The bill now goes to the Senate next week. Ross Cullen, Paris.
UK ministers are being urged to tackle staffing issues in the NHS to help clear the backlog in care exacerbated by COVID-19. A record high of almost 6 million people in England are waiting for planned treatment. MPs on the Health and Social Care Committee say the workforce crisis should be addressed urgently, and Patricia Marquist from the Royal College of Nursing agrees.
It's hard to think that it could get more difficult than it is now. But right now we've got people waiting maybe 12 hours for an ambulance, 12 hours to be offloaded from that ambulance when they arrive at hospital, and another 12 hours if they need admitted to a bed. None of that is acceptable, but those delays may go up. I can see colleagues in the community not able to spend the time with the patients that need their care.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks, looking in more detail today at the protests in Kazakhstan. It is a vast country stretching from the Caspian Sea in the west all the way to its border with China and Russia in the Altai Mountains. Dominated for decades by former President Nursultan Nazarbayev, who governed Kazakhstan when it was a Soviet republic and then recreated himself as the USSR collapsed, it's now ruled by his former Prime Minister, Kasim Tokayev. FSN's Moscow correspondent Julia Chapman told us more.
Protests are a relatively rare occurrence in Kazakhstan, but not unheard of. Demonstrators are met with a fairly heavy hand by Kazakh authorities, so it takes a lot for people to take to the streets. Kazakhstan is the richest Central Asian nation, but many ordinary Kazakhs don't feel the benefit of those revenues. And these protests are really a huge test for President Tokayev, who came to power in 2019, because many Kazakhs only ever knew Nursultan Nazarbayev as their leader, following 30 years of his rule. But his role in Kazakhstan is now very uncertain. A video circulating on social media appeared to show protesters trying to pull down a statue of Nazarbayev. The tide does appear to be turning against the old guard.
Kazakhstan has been an oasis of relative stability in Central Asia, attracting foreign investors. Stability, though, is now at risk as protests against rising fuel prices express broader public frustrations. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
To recap the top stories, Kazakh security forces say they've killed dozens of anti-government protesters. COVID-19 cases in India are growing 21 times faster than at the peak of the second wave. French MPs have approved the government's proposed legislation to convert a COVID health pass to a vaccine pass. And UK ministers are being urged to tackle staffing issues in the NHS to help clear a huge backlog in care. That's the latest feature story news. Ollie Barrett reporting.
Listen to our host of the Rated R Safety Show self-implode on our airwaves, only on Safety FM.
Be around people. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. Look at this little face. How could you not love him?
Hamilton the Pug, Instagram star, and Shelter Pet. Amazing adoption stories start in shelters. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
You make sure his toys don't have any sharp edges. You taught her what to do when the smoke alarm goes off. You do so much to keep your child safe. But are you using the right car seat for your child? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Protect your child's future at every stage of life. For information on the right seat for your child, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. So you see, son, good manners are important. Should I go through it again?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Exactly. Always say please, thank you, you're welcome, and excuse me. Sit up straight, hold doors open. Don't speak with your mouth full. Keep your elbows off the table. Share your things, play nice, and generally treat others the way you'd like to be treated. Got it?
Got it.
And stop picking your nose.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
I'm a retired school psychologist, and helping people was my thing. After my stroke, when Meals on Wheels started, I was on the other end of the stick, so to speak. My name is Julius Gaines, creative writer, poet, photographer.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
You know how sometimes in life you have those moments of shoulda, coulda, woulda, you know what I'm talking about. It happens all the time to people. So let's talk about that very sensitive subject of male pattern baldness. Don't go through that moment where you're going, I shoulda, coulda, woulda. Let's talk about my friends at Keeps. 2 out of 3 men experience some form of hair loss by the time they are 35. With more than 50 million men in the U.S. suffer from male pattern baldness. You don't have to be one of them. Think about this. There are only 2 FDA-approved medications that can prevent hair loss, and my friends at Keeps offer both. Keeps offers simple, stress-free way for you to keep your hair. Convenient virtual doctor's consultations and medication delivered straight to your door. I mean, I have to tell you, just for the whole sake of not having to leave your house to have the consultation, that should sell itself. But the low-cost treatments start just as low as $10 per month, and Keeps offers generic versions. Discreet packaging and proven results. Keeps has more 5-star reviews than any of its competitors. I want you to think about that. People love the product. Prevention is key. Treatment can take 4 to 6 months to see results, so act fast. All you have to do to take action to prevent hair loss is to go to keeps.com. That's KEEPS.com/safety. to receive your first month of treatment for free. That's keeps.com, KEEPS.com/safety to get your first month free. That's KEEPS.com/safety. Remember, not everybody has such a beautiful head as mine. So don't be saying coulda, shoulda, woulda. Act on Keeps right now.
Friends, if you don't have filtered soft water in your home, you're keeping house the hard way. And the easy way to get rid of hard water is to call your Culligan man.
Hey, Culligan man! Hey, Culligan man!
That's the way to do it. Now, he attaches a Culligan water softener to your water pipes. Then that old hard water comes along and goes through the softener. And it comes out nice soft water.
Soft, soft, soft.
And everything washes better in Culligan soft water. Things like clothes and dishes and people. And whether you want to buy a water softener or have it on a service basis, you can get full information by saying those 3 little words.
I love you.
No.
Hey, Culligan man?
That's it.
Hey, Culligan man!
That ought to get him.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Okay, so there you go. 17 minutes past the top of the hour as we are hanging and banging this lovely Thursday, doing the things that we have going on. Anyways, it's interesting taking a listen to always what is going on inside of the world when Feature Story News decides to step in, let us know what is going on. So some fun times, interesting times there for sure as we are hanging around here. Why did that happen? I'm not even sure sometimes what happens with my computer system because it doesn't love me. No, seriously, it seems like it doesn't. So here you go. Let's start talking about some things that are going on inside of the news. Apparently, there's going to be a lot of information going on, of course, with the Betty White story. So let's talk about it. The Betty White's life and career won't just be celebrated in Oak Park, Illinois. The village where she was born is creating a full-on holiday to honor the late actress. Betty White Day will be recognized in Betty White's hometown on January the 17th, which had been her 100th birthday. The small business community is banding together to offer discounts to customers of the Betty White special. For example, Mickey's restaurants will be offering special consisting of a hot dog, fries, and a Diet Coke, one of Betty's favorite meals. So there you go. So White, no vodka. Yes, that is correct. No vodka at that particular one. So let's talk about some other things that are going on, of course, inside of the world. We're going to talk a little bit about everything because that's what we've been doing as we've started this year. Just doing a little bit of todo que está disponible. So let's go through that real quick. The King star Joe Exotic is launching a GoFundMe asking for an incredible $500,000 to cover his recent legal fees associated with his ongoing feud with Carol Baskin. A judge sanctioned Exotic's real name, Joseph Maldonado Passage, instructing him to pay Baskin nearly $10,000 from a dispute over the infamous Oklahoma zoo that he used to own. He says that he will still owe $1 million to Carol's Big Cat Rescue from her trademark infringement lawsuit, and he needs help covering his debt too. Exotic had appealed to the honchos at GoFundMe to get the page approved, of course. As he puts it, he essentially has to pay that bitch Carol Baskin back the funds. So there you go. Hey, not my quote, his quote, just kind of what's going on inside of there. I still think it's interesting that it took a pandemic to make this guy popular. It took a pandemic for everything that was going on to turn around and go, okay, this dude is popular now because of everything that he had going on. I mean, it's just mind-boggling to me, the things that we will actually go out there and say, hey, let's make this dude popular. Anyway, so let's continue talking. HBO made Harry Potter fans very happy recently with its 20th anniversary special, and now producers have gone back to fix a few awkward gaffes that slipped in. A picture of Emma Roberts was incorrectly used during a segment about Emma Watson, who played Hermione in the franchise. And the second error was spotted as Harry Potter star Oliver Phelps, who played George on one of the Weasley twins. The original version, Social misidentified him as the identical twin brother of James Phelps, who played for the other Weasley sibling, Fred, and vice versa. So there you go. I mean, content creators always have to go back and, when you're doing the production and when you're doing the directing and the editing, you're supposed to catch that stuff. Hey, but don't worry. Big time movies do that stuff all the time. And not saying that Harry Potter was never a big time movie.
Duh.
But hey, we're saying that, it's kind of important to make sure that we stay on top of things. Stay on top of things for sure.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, James Cameron is planning to make a 6-hour movie for streaming platforms. He explained that he is excited by the chaos the rise of streaming services such as Netflix have brought to Hollywood, and says that he wants to make a new type of film using the platform. Quote, "You can stream it for 6 hours, or you can go and have a more condensed roller coaster immersive version of the experience in a movie theater. Same movie, just one's the novel and one's the movie. Let's just say that these platforms in this way have been done before. 6 hours sounds like a lot of wine. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know. Could you enduring, because this is what it was, enduring through that movie. How should we title this to deem it properly? Enduring through the Justice League movie, it was 4 hours. It was a 4-hour movie. And, it wasn't an easy feat. It wasn't an easy thing to sit through and go, hey, this is fantastic. It was a rough thing. I mean, don't get me wrong. That movie was better than the other one, but it was a rough sell. It was a rough thing to sit through. So I can't fathom sitting through a 6-hour movie. Now, let's not get it wrong. Yeah, you can pause it, you can come back and all that, but when you sit and you're doing these versionalities of these things, and you're going through them and you're sitting through them, do you really want to sit there for 6 hours? I mean, I don't know. I feel like there's better things to do with our time. But anyways, that's just my gig. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other thing. Let's talk about some wild cards. Your next credit card or debit card will probably look significantly different from the ones in your wallet, the ones that you have in your wallet now. Card providers are moving away from the style that dates back to the 1960s and moving to a design more accurately reflects the way that they are used today. Basically, the new looks turn into a familiar horizontal credit card on the side that adapts to the new vertical configuration that are faster and easier to use with card processing terminals. Think about it for a moment, how you use yours. When you tap it or you insert it into the machine to make a payment, you're holding it from the short end. So why not have your card provider logo, have the face vertical paying rather than sideways? I mean, just something to think about, of course. The card companies claim that the change makes it easier for the consumers to tap or insert correctly. HSBC launched the vertical card last summer that was praised by the accessibility groups and raised the dots for those with visual impairment. Labels indicating which may use the card in a larger size font. So something to think about just for the sake of doing so. There are such thing right now as digital wallets. We already know about this. And proximity sensors. So why don't we start leaning a little bit heavier into that? So vertical or not, I still find a way to put it in the wrong way. It just seems the way that's how it actually goes right now. But the reason I use debit cards is that I don't like change, literally. So there you go. I accidentally swiped my donor card instead of my debit card yesterday. My groceries ended up costing me an arm and a leg. If you get what I'm saying there. No, seriously.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
So let's talk about some interesting environments. In order to save the environment and our health, a new study argues that people should give up all sweets and fried foods. Researchers in Australia and New Zealand concluded that the production of unhealthy foods or junk food has a negative effect on the earth. Oh my God. Have an effect on the earth. Ecology is really what it's trying to say, as well as the eater's health. Looking at 20 studies of environmental impact of food consumption, they have determined that the unhealthier foods such as sweets, pastries, processed meat, and fatty foods produce more greenhouse gases. They are referring to the production and transportation that not only happens after you eat, silly. So don't get confused on when I say green gases, because some people might take that the wrong way on what I'm trying to say there. So, something to think about. I guess I should probably ask the question, because it was popular around the holidays. Did you watch Don't Look Up? Now, seriously, did you watch it? Did you not watch it? It is very similar to, what is that Mike Judge movie? Idiocracy. There is some similarities there for sure if you do take a gander of it. But it was interesting because when Idiocracy came out, a lot of people said that, it was a play, it was a comedy, it was a funny. Nobody really knew to some extent that it was almost like a documentary. And that's not a joke as I say that. Or is it a joke? Now I'm so confused on what I'm saying.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Okay, over 380 million tons of plastic is produced each year. Much of the plastic bags. Cotton also has a large ecological footprint. Researchers from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, just in case, are hoping to combat the issues that have developed and consider a solution to turn plastic bags, wraps, and supermarket waste into textiles, sportswear, shoes, army uniforms, and maybe even spacesuits can be formed from fabric created out of plastic bags. According to scientists, the eco-friendly recycling textile could revolutionize fashion as it resists dirt and can be washed in cold water in just about 10 minutes. Great. Next, we'll have island and undershorts in the middle of the ocean. So there you go. Just some stuff to think about as things continue to change. We are 27 minutes past the top of the hour. You are hanging out with me here on RadioBig.fm and on Safety FM, just in case if you're wondering where you're at, because I think we should talk about that more and more frequently. Keep in mind that we always have some apps that are available if you want to take a listen to our different shows throughout the day, and you can just download those at safetyfm.com, or you can go to radiobig.fm just for the information of talking about it. So we are 28 minutes past the top of the hour. I think it is time for me to bring in Johnny Smalls for his first round of what he has going on and let him tell us about the Market Beat.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Thursday, January 6th, 2022. Stocks pulled back Wednesday despite a much better than expected ADP report. The report says more than 800,000 new jobs were created in December, which is more than double the consensus estimate. The news is great for the economy as it means much needed positions are getting filled, and log jams in the supply chain will begin to ease. But it also means hiring. Wages are on the rise as well and expected to accelerate in this month's NFP report. The buzz on Wall Street is that wage inflation will run in the mid-teens this year. The reason for the pullback was the FOMC minutes, which revealed a much more hawkish Fed than the market was looking for. The FOMC minutes indicate the committee could hike rates for the first time by March and begin trimming the balance sheet soon after. The yield on a 10-year Treasury advanced to an 8-month high in the news, while the NASDAQ Composite shed more than 2.75% at the low of the day. You can get the inside track from Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, Johnny Smalls, for that one, letting us know what exactly is going on inside of the world of the news, because those things are always important. Flip it. Okay. Just in case, just some stuff going on always as we are talking and moving and grooving and everything else that we have going on. 29 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely, lovely, lovely Thursday. So anything good and fantastic planned that you have going on? Are you making plans for the weekend? Are you looking forward to the end of Dexter New Blood? Oh, sorry, should I talk about that yet? Or is that even something we should talk about here? Anyways, before we get too far into the next thing, let's talk about some of the movies that are that are coming up and that are highly anticipated, because it is something that we should talk about here, because, we talk a little bit about everything. So most anticipated movies for 2020 on January the 14th, Scream the 5th installment featuring Neve Campbell, Courtney Cox, and David Arquette will be coming out. On February the 4th, Jackass Forever is coming out. If you're not familiar with Jackass, that is, the gang is still sacrificing their bodies in the middle age, and for the first time ever, a female member will be part of it. On February 11th, Marry Me. Remember rom-coms? Yeah, Jennifer Lopez plays a pop star in that one. On March the 4th, Batman, The Batman will be coming out. April 22nd, The Northman. Another movie on April 22nd, Disappointment Boulevard, a nightmare comedy starring Joaquin Phoenix. On May the 6th, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. May 27th, Top Gun Maverick with Tom Cruise. Man, that one seems to have been taking a while for it to get that pushback date that it did. On July the 8th, Thor, Love and Thunder. July the 22nd, Nope is better saying. It's a horror film written and directed by Jordan Peele. This is a guy that actually has done everything with Get Out. So there you go. September the 30th, Mission Impossible 7. October the 7th, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, 2. So there you go. That's going to be the cartoon one, if I remember correctly. November the 4th, Cattenberry Glass. November the 23rd, The Fablesman. On December the 16th, Follow Jake. And on December the 25th, Babylon. So there you go. Just some stuff to look forward to as we're able to move forward, move and groove and all that stuff. I think it's time now to talk about our main story.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so here we are, moving and grooving and doing our thing and all that kind of fun stuff, because those things are important to do so. So let's start talking. Let's start talking about that thing that we talk about all the time. If you are a safety professional, if you are a person who is in operations, if you are a person that has done anything, you at one point or another have spoken about CE 399. And you have probably sat through countless meetings talking about CE 399. And these meetings go about that you are going to have a solution to something that is going to make the world perfect. You are going to come up with a safety strategy that is going to change everything. It's kind of like that belief system that people had for a period of time where they could lose all their debt by mentioning one word. Well, I say maybe a small couple of words. Oh, yes, I can get rid of all my debt by mentioning what? Identity fraud. Well, that's not going to get rid of your debt. That is you doing something different, unless you did suffer through identity fraud. But CE 399 is something that we talk about in organizations all the time. And it is mentioned over and over and over and over again. And it consists of a theory of something that, if you really think about it to an extent, I don't know if it's true. For years, people have said that it did happen. There is a pretty big report that references CE 399 and says how magical it was. It says about how great it is. And we've had this whole concept as organizations that it exists. We have concepts as people in business, concepts as people that are in relationship, that this will actually work for everyone. And I got some bad news. CE 399, if you're not familiar with the term, maybe I should explain what it is. It's the magic bullet. If you go into the Kennedy assassination report, there is the commission report here about the Kennedy assassination. They talk about CE 399, which is the magic bullet. So it's the bullet that was able to do, what was it? 7 entries in total. But we as organizations, we as people that work in organizations, we're always looking for the quote-unquote magic bullet. Now, I will tell you, I am not a gun expert. a rifle expert, but I have never seen anything that looks like something that could go in 7 times and move around and, all kinds of fun stuff. We can talk about that at a later time, of course. But why is it that as organizations, as people that are out there, we look for this thing, or we have this assumption, or the organization leadership believes that there will be a magic bullet that will solve all? This one thing that we're going to do that is going to change the way that our industry is. It is going to change how we do everything that we're doing. Now, personally, I've been doing this for years, a few decades at this point, and I still have not found anything that can resolve all. I have not found the magic bullet. I mean, I've been sold the same thing over and over again in different formats that I've seen. I've seen stuff repackaged. But there isn't a magic bullet. CE399 is still a theory that people are trying to prove. But I look at this and I go, how is this going to work for us? How is this going to work on when we go into organizations and start talking? Why is it that there is still the belief that there is one thing that's going to solve all the problems? There's ideas and concepts and things along those lines that you can put some work into, and maybe based on some of the stuff you've done in the past, it can actually assist. But one thing that's going to change all, probably not going to happen. So, will CE399 work for you, or the magic bullet? I don't know. And I'm not talking about like the blender, because I don't want people to get confused on that one. But it's just amazing that when we sit here at this time, we still have a conversation of one thing that will change everything. If you have to look into an organization and say that there is one concept that will change everything, there is. And that's the people. That's something to think about. But then again, what do I know? Just a guy behind a microphone.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You're listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
Okay, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. So mommy's going to teach you how to dress yourself. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole, or you have to start all over. Socks going first, then shoes right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops. The rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting's hard to do in just 2 minutes. 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
This message is for all of you sitting in the passenger seat. And apologies if it gets a little uncomfortable, but how does it feel to be at the mercy of someone who thinks a random text is more important than your life? Someone who takes their eyes off the road while speeding along in a 3-ton hunk of steel. Freaky, right? Well, why not just ask them to stop? Or better yet, volunteer to text for them. It might be a little awkward, but believe me, you'll live.
Learn more at StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
We are live outside the home of Joe and Rosie Goddard, where a pretty big tickle fight broke out just minutes ago. Sources say their father instigated the laughter. Let's go inside for a comment. Apparently, they have no comment. Dads, let this be a reminder that it only takes a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
How's it going? I'm having a stroke. Are you going to shake my hand? I'm having a stroke. Wow, you're not even moving your arm. I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
These days, it can be hard to find and hire the right candidates for your small business. That's why LinkedIn Jobs made it easier to find the people that you want to talk to faster and for free. I have to tell you, even before they ever became a sponsor here on Safety FM, we have used LinkedIn Jobs to help find the people that we have here on Safety FM. It's an easy service to use. Create a free job post in minutes on LinkedIn Jobs to reach your network and beyond to the world's largest professional network of over 770 million people. Focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience and use screening questions to get your role in front of only the most qualified candidates. Then use the simple tools on LinkedIn Jobs to quickly filter and prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the candidates you want to talk to faster. Did you know that every week, nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? Post your job for free at linkedin.com/safetyfm. That's linkedin.com/safetyfm to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you. Hey, are you tired of hanging around and talking about safety in a boring kind of format? Well, I got something for you. If you haven't hung out with us yet at safetyfm.com, I'm going to encourage you to do so. Yeah, if you come out to Safety FM, you can come hang out with all kinds of safety professionals. Some are safety professionals, some are just people that are talking about safety. But we want to do it in a format that makes it fun and entertaining. If you're kind of trying to figure out what the FM portion is, well, we're a radio station and also a podcast network. You can come out, hang out, and listen to my show, The Jay Allen Show. You can listen to Todd Conklin with the pre-accident investigation, Blaine J. Hoffman with the Safety Pro, The Hop Nerd, Sam Goodman, just to name a few on what can be found on the station. Different things for different people, trying to bring safety in an entertaining form. SafetyFM.com. Go to the website, download the app, and carry it with you all day long. SafetyFM.com. We'll be waiting for you. Here we go. You know this one. We play it all the time. So this is Viper by Pseudo. No, seriously. It's by Pseudo. And I feel like we have played this one over and 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 over. And yes, it is readily available on iTunes and Spotify if you're so encouraged to take a gander. Anyways, we'd like to thank Pseudo for allowing us to play this one here on the Rated R Safety Show. Currently 43 minutes past the top of the hour, if you were kind of wondering what time it was, what's going on. So, there you go. One more time. I'm a VIP. Okay, so let's get back into the groove of things that are going on, because that's always important. But before we get too far away, let me tell you about my friends at the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Know that you are not alone. Whether you have struggled with suicide yourself or have lost a loved one, hear about personal experiences from people in your local communities whose life have been impacted by suicide and depression. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to their website at afsp.org. That is afsp.org, or call 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-8255, or text the word TALK to 741-741. So there you go. You never know when it might be important. You could be going through a struggle, or a loved one could. So you'll never know until the time does occur. So I always tell people, be on the lookout, because you never know when you might actually need the information. Anyways, let's talk about some other things going on inside of the world. No winner for Tuesday night's Mega Million drawing. Friday's drawing will be for $278 million jackpot, just so you are aware of that information. What else do we have around here? What else? Let's talk real quick about did you know, as Omicron infections continue to break records, an expert in advising those without access to a KN95 or an N95 mask said to double up on other types instead. Dr. Leanne Wen, an emergency physician at the public health professor at George Washington University, advises those who can't get their hands on medical grade protection to wear both of the more widely available versions of the mask. The cloth disposable surgical versions she says that wearing them as a 3-ply surgical mask that sometimes doesn't fit well around the face. But with a cloth mask on top of that, well, it seems to fit a little bit better and can be a satisfactory substitute. So something to think about if you're interested in doing that kind of thing. If you're concerned about potential infections, some stuff that you can do for sure. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other things. Earlier, we did talk about how the Grammys will no longer be taking place by the end of the month. The Recording Academy announced that the Music Awards show has been postponed to a new date that will be announced soon. The Academy has cited that Omicron variant as the reason behind the cancellation. So there you go. The Golden Globes will be live streamed this year as the winners are announced in their respective categories. As previously reported, NBC will not be carrying the broadcast, nor will any other major network. Also, there will not be a large audience or celebs in attendance. COVID precautions will be in place during the attendance. So I guess this is really going to put some dampers on a lot of things as we are talking and moving and grooving and all that stuff as we are talking about this today. So let's talk about some whack facts real quick. It is 46 minutes past the top of the hour. Don't worry, we're not going anywhere. But 91% of people skip their first slice of bread just in case it's ugly. If you ran literally at a snail's pace, it would take you 18 months to finish a marathon. I wish I knew how far that length of the marathon would be. A high-quality Persian rug can last about 500 years. Incidents of deja vu decrease with age. Tom Cruise writes with his right hand but does almost everything else with his left. I don't understand how this is important information to be sharing with people. But maybe some people might find this interesting. Signs that you work in a bad office. You have a desk but no chair. Every third of your pay is deducted for the Prozac fund. The increase in profitability, the conference room has been turned into a chinchilla farm. Only the vending machine makes less money than you. In your one-page performance report, the word sucks appears 13 times. The company president casually asks you if you know anything about starting fires. When stressed, your boss licks the back of his hand compulsively. The guy who comes in once a week to change the water cooler is the new VP. When you say, see you tomorrow, the security guard laughs uncontrollably. And your office nickname is Deadwood. Think about it.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
And so after that, why would we do the Market Minute?
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote has been submitted by Melissa. Eleanor Roosevelt said, "It takes as much energy to wish as it does to plan." This is the perfect quote to share for anybody who's making a plan. Whether it's a plan for a new year, a new month, a new week, or even a plan for the day. Remember, you can plot out your plan and follow that plan, or you could just wish for success. Which of those do you think will work better? I had a great manager who used to say, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. I didn't like it when he said that to me 20 years ago, but it means something to me now. And guess what? I believe he was right. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quote can be submitted for an upcoming program at motivationminute.org.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by alasamorgan.com. Sometimes we attempt to make changes to our health and it seems like we're doing everything right and yet changes do not happen. Here are 3 most common reasons why this may be the case. Number 1 is addressing purely physical side of our health, like changing diet and going to the gym without addressing mental, emotional, or hormonal side of health. Second is eating too often. One of the quickest ways to lower inflammation is to increase your eating window and stop snacking. Eating every couple of hours and consistently putting food into your digestive system causes inflammation and overburdens the gut. Intermittent breaks from food are very important. And third, not walking enough. Walking stimulates the parasympathetic rest digest repair nervous system, and we all need more of this recovery-based activity. For additional resources on optimizing your wellness, visit alasamorgan.com.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show. This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Oh, there you go. A lot of stuff. I love when I call things the wrong thing before I play them. It's quite fantastic on how it's working. Take a listen to this one real quick.
The Motivation Minute.
And that is definitely not what I meant to play, because apparently I'm going to call everything the Motivation Minute as I do this today. I guess that's going to be quite fantastic. That was not what's supposed to be loading. I love when things work out not the way they're supposed to. Maybe we should try it this way.
Hello, I'm Richard Exley with your 1-minute devotion. Becoming Christ-like is a joint effort between our will and the work of the Holy Spirit. We must choose to do what is right, trusting that doing right will open us to the life-changing work of the Spirit. If we don't will ourselves to act, we cut ourselves off from the transforming work of the Holy Ghost. By the same token, if the Spirit did not do His work within us, then we'd be just going through the motions. No matter how hard we tried, we could not make ourselves godly. Becoming a godly person is a corporate effort between our will and the Holy Spirit. Romans 12 said, don't copy the behavior and customs of this world, but let God transform you. Lord, conform us to your image if we walk in obedience. Amen. If these devotions are a blessing and an encouragement to you, you can subscribe at 1minutedevotion.com.
So there you go, 1minutedevotion.com. A little bit of everything going on this morning as you and I are hanging out, doing our thing. So let's continue talking about some other things real quick before we get you out of here. It is currently 52 minutes past the top of the hour. So let's talk about some things that happened back on this date. So let's take a look. We'll talk about 2 things. Back in 2018, John Gruden returned to the NFL as the head coach of the Oakland Raiders. The moves comes after he spent nearly a decade broadcasting for ESPN Monday Night Football. On 2021, Americans displeased with the outcome of the presidential election stormed the U.S. Capitol in Washington, D.C. Vice President Mike Pence and other lawmakers had to be evacuated. 5 people died. That happened back all on this date. Let's talk about some birthdays that are going on today. Courtney Eaton turns 26. James Winston turns 28. Alex Turner, 36. Eric Trump, 38. Kevin McKinnon, 38. Hillary Baldwin, 38. Ed Redmond, 40. Julie Chen, 52. Ree Drummond, 53. Norman Reedus, 53. And let's see. Rowan Atkinson, the actor, turned 67. Just in case if you're wondering who the actor is, that would be Mr. Bean, just in case. Today's also National Bean Day. If you're looking for a day to celebrate, National Cuddle Up Day, National Shortbread Day, and National Technology Day. So there you go. All reasons to celebrate if you're so inclined to do so. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on as always, and we talk move, groove, and everything else around here. Let's talk about some things of BS today, some scoops of BF. An increasing number of people are naming their kids after their favorite TV characters, at least according to the article that was recently recorded by the Attention by My Kids, Peppermint Patty, and He-Man. So there you go. A study says that cleaning up clutter in your home cuts down about 40% of your housework, not to mention about 85% of A&E's reality programming. Beyonce and Jay-Z's daughter, Blue Ivy Carter, turns 10 this week, and if you know the parents, I'm sure the celebration will be low-key affair and devoid of any extravagant or pretense. The British actor and comedian who played Mr. Bean is 67 today. At his birthday party, all the European friends laughed and laughed and laughed, but as usual, his American friends thought it was stupid. A report found no link between eating butter and heart disease, but that was when you get naked in the coat of the entire body with it, and, I'm just asking for a friend. I mean, I'm just throwing it out there.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
I don't know what happens sometimes. These things just show up and we talk about them and how they actually come about and all that kind of fun stuff, just in case. By the way, I guess I should have mentioned this because I didn't mention it earlier, but on other things that occurred on this day, back in 2016, Star Wars The Force Awakens breaks the North American box office by passing $760.5 million record set by Avatar, still with number one at $936.6 million. I mean, that was at the time, so let me just make sure that I'm extremely clear here. Anyway, so let's talk for a moment before we get you out of here, before I go to Radio Big and hang out and do my stuff over there. If you haven't downloaded the apps, please consider doing so. Keep in mind, they are free. You can take a listen to everything that we have going on at Safety FM and on RadioBig.fm by just downloading our free apps. You can carry it with you all the time. Available on the Apple Store, the Apple Store, the Apple App Store is available. And then, of course, the Google Play Store. So just in case, and we're also available as an Alexa skill. Anyways, if I can give you a random joke for today, here's one. When I was a kid, my parents would always say, "Excuse my French," after swearing. I never forgot my first day of school when the teacher asked me if I knew any of us knew French. So, of course, I went off. If you need a phone starter for today, try this one. Have you ever been punished for something you didn't do? Boy, does that open a whole Pandora's box of things that I could say here. Not 1,000% sure if I really want to go down that one. What comes to mind in your part? Interesting to think about, huh? Just think about it in that fashion. Anyways, if you need something for the water cooler, try this question. In a survey, 1 in 5 people said that this is the biggest annoyance in their home. What is it? Pet hair. That's where we're at, pet hair. Anyways, thank you for listening to the Rated R Safety Show exclusively on RadioBig.fm and SafetyFM.com. Can't do what we do without you, the most important part of what we have going on. And that's the listener, that's for sure. Anyways, thank you for hanging out with me. I appreciate the time this morning. Like I said, I will be going over exclusively to RadioBig.fm. If you want to come out and hang out for the next couple hours, we'll do some stuff together. You'll definitely get to listen to the Betty White monologue if you decide to do so. Anyways, if I can leave you with a thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. Pay attention, be astonished, and tell about it. Pay attention, be astonished, and tell about it. Believe me, life will be significantly different if you so decide to do so. Anyways, I know who you are. You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.